Well, good morning. All right, it is wonderful to be here this morning. Weighing your blessings and obligations with the scales of justice. Weighing your blessings and obligations with the scales of justice to the gifted, intelligent, intellectually curious, and hard-working individuals who collectively make up the incoming class of Elon University School of Law, and to the future guardians of the rule of law, a principle that undergirds the noble ideal that is the United States of America. I offer my congratulations to each of you as you begin your journey to becoming a lawyer. I am honored to be a small part of your individual and collective journeys. As I considered what to share with each of you this morning, I reflected on comments I made a little over 7 years ago. Those comments were made on Mother's Day during the commencement exercises of my law school class. My classmates had honored me by selecting me to give the student commencement address. As part of that speech, I called on my classmates, as well as everyone in attendance, to envision the scales of justice. As you will likely know or will come to know, the scales of justice often symbolize the weighing of two sides of an argument and the fair, unbiased administration of the law. I asked my classmates to envision those scales not for the weighing of an argument, but rather the balancing of weights that symbolize their professional lives on the one side and their personal lives on the other scale as they become members of the legal profession. Given a similar honor to speak to future lawyers here this morning, for which I sincerely thank the officials and employees of Elon University and its School of Law, I return to those scales of justice, albeit with somewhat different symbolic weights to balance. I call on each of you now to envision those scales of justice. On the one side, I would submit to you that you have blessings. Simply, you are blessed to be part of the incoming class of the Elon School of Law. Many individuals who are not here would want to be in the seats that you occupy. I understand that this school accepted less than 15% of the students that applied for your seats. However, the number of people who would want to sit here today is far greater than those that just simply applied and were not admitted. Indeed, the number is far greater than those that applied to attend any law school. For you see, there are many who, when dreaming of their futures and possible careers, wanted to be lawyers. They wanted to be the guardians of the very pillars of this country, a country that was founded to be a nation of laws. They wanted to be the trustees of the legal system, the ones who have the responsibilities to maintain public confidence in the system and to defend its integrity. They are not here for a variety of reasons, including but not limited to no one provided them with the guidance and support necessary to be here. They internalized their presumed inferiority despite their keen intellectual abilities and other gifts. They did not have the financial wherewithal to attend. They are not here, you are. Furthermore, many people, including those that know you and many more that do not know of your existence wanted you to sit in your seats today. Certainly those individuals include family and friends who encouraged you, guided you, prayed for you to be here today. They also include those who suffered greatly to ensure that America lived up to the precepts of diversity, equity, and inclusion by allowing people of every color, gender, and creed to be allowed to be opportunities to become lawyers. When I first walked through the halls of my law school 30 years ago now, I knew I had been blessed. In my class of approximately 180 students, there were only 3 African American males, including me. I was blessed by my father, who instilled in me that I could become a great lawyer, even though he did not graduate from high school, and even though he died tragically when I was only 10 years old. I was blessed by my mother, who grew up so poor in the United States Virgin Islands that her house, the floor of her house, was made of dirt. And she often had to carry over her head large buckets of water from a reservoir because she did not have running water in her house. I was blessed by her because she prayed for me, challenged me, and supported me. Moreover, there were untold numbers of civil rights leaders and people of goodwill who did not know me but worked earnestly and without reward for me to walk through those law school halls. Assuredly now, each of your journeys to this law school's halls is unique. Except for me, you are blessed to be here. So then, what grand blessing is about to be bestowed upon you? Well, there are the upcoming long and sleepless nights of reading cases from a bygone era. There are the countless opportunities to be force-fed seemingly arcane legal principles. There will be professors who will challenge your understanding of the law in a manner that will leave you feeling woefully inadequate. There will be times that what you write will be so criticized that you will wonder whether you ever even knew how to write. And by the way, for this blessing, you may acquire significant debt that will take years to pay off. So now you must be thinking, Mo, I don't know about this. That doesn't sound like much of a blessing to me. In fact, you may be thinking, let me see if I can, as inconspicuously as possible, leave this place now and run for the hills. Bear with me. If you leave, I would submit to you that you're losing out on a fantastic opportunity. For you see, you are the latest to receive an education that has its roots that trace back to the very founding of our country and Thomas Jefferson, someone who many consider to be the founding father of the university legal education in America. In 1779, as governor of Virginia, Jefferson acted upon an idea of legal education as part of the university's liberal arts curriculum to nurture the development of future statesmen, legislators, and judges who would lead this country's fledgling republic by causing the College of William and Mary to establish a professorship of law and police, which means law and policy in today's usage. Scholars posit that Jefferson's idea and action had its origins in Montesquieu, a French philosopher who wrote The Spirit of the Laws. For Montesquieu, it was self-evident that a republican government can be sustained only in a society of citizens who practice public virtue, which he defined as the lover of laws and of country, that requires a constant preference of public to private interest. From this axiom, Montesquieu concluded that Republican education must aim to inculcate citizens with a love of their laws. Of course, now we know that law schools, and the legal profession have changed dramatically from those early days of legal education. For example, much of the content of legal education is directed at training the students to be practicing lawyers. Despite these substantial challenges and changes, I submit that the fundamental essence of a legal education, while informed by current realities, remains the same. That is, students have the opportunity to acquire vast knowledge about human affairs and institutions so that their minds are opened to the implications of the law for the human condition and the appropriate governance of a country. You are being given, then, through your participation as a student in the Elon School of Law, the opportunity to acquire a love of laws and of this country in a unique and special way. What a blessing. So then, the weights on the one side of the scale are quite heavy. Indeed, having been blessed to be here and having been afforded the opportunity to receive a legal education, what could possibly serve as a counterbalance to those blessings? I respectfully submit to you that the appropriate counterweight must include the use of your legal education to work for the public good. Indeed, working for the public good should be part of your normal course of your professional lives. That public service responsibility can be accomplished directly by working for the government and other organizations that produce public goods, or by providing volunteer service while predominantly in private law practice or other vocations. To be clear, what I am advocating for seems to go against the current tide. For example, in the United States Congress in the 1800s, 80% of Congress was comprised of lawyers. By 1960, it was 60%. Now, less than 40% of Congress is made up of lawyers. Those numbers are likely to continue to dwindle as there is a growing professional political class, and there's a greater fixation on law as a business instead of a profession that has led to the collective public spirit of the profession. As another example, in the area of legal representation of the poor, the North Carolina Equal Access to Justice Commission noted in recent years that there is only one legal aid attorney for every 11,000 North Carolinians eligible for legal services. In contrast, there is one private attorney for every 362 North Carolina residents as of 2016. Moreover, of the civil legal needs of the poor, things like legal representation in the areas of domestic violence, divorce, child custody, housing, consumer protection, employment, benefits, and health, the Commission noted that 80% of those needs go unmet every year. Notwithstanding the current tide, I think you, as our future lawyers, must work for the public good. You will have been uniquely educated to do so. You, as lawyers, will be the guardians of the way we govern ourselves in this country. Our country, which is in the midst of trying times, needs you to work with honesty and integrity for the public good. Please seek to hold elected or appointed public offices. Please choose to spend a portion of your time representing the socio and economically disadvantaged members of our society or being part of organizations that do so. Please ensure that our civil liberties are maintained through your reasoned and deliberate oral and written word. Please don't let those who have not yet come to appreciate the majesty of just and moral laws ruin our nation of laws. Finally, then, because I believe that the obligation of public service, while substantial, is not heavy enough to counterbalance your blessings, I offer one final set of weights to balance your blessings. I suggest to you that you need to be good to yourself and your family and friends. It is oft said that law can be a jealous lover, one who will demand much of your attention. Find ways then to take care of yourself and do things that will bring you joy outside of the law. In addition, try to be the very best mother, father, spouse, significant other, child, friend, cousin, auntie, uncle, granny, etc. that you can be. They need you to be present for and with them. Through the passage of time, I know that your scales will, from time to time, fall out of balance. We will underappreciate our blessings. We will disregard our obligations. This is the nature of humans. I simply request when your weights teeter the scales out of balance, you will reflect on your blessings and obligations, and you will find ways to bring your scale back into harmony. Doing so will enrich you and your life, your family and friends, and indeed this country. Best wishes to each and every one of you. Be blessed.